This is Ed Rojas at PBC Sec.
Brian Bragg from Breaking Down Security.
Andrew Kalat from Defensive Security.
Amanda Berlin from Hurricane Labs.
Jerry Bell from Defensive Security.
And our sounding board, I always say board, sounds like it's board, but it's B-O-A-R-D, extraordinary, Timothy DeBlock. We're actually in his room at Derbycon. Woo! Right. And it's live.
Did we warn him we were all going to crash his room? Or did we just
No,
show
but
him?
we got to go ahead and rate his... rate his.
Does he have a minibar?
Yeah, he does. He does. We
Not
rate
for
it.
long.
And we have some people that wanted to see what a podcast looks like. Actually,
Really?
something like that.
Poor
Live
bastards.
studio audience.
Won't they be disappointed?
Introduce yourselves, please. Come to the microphone.
No, there's hundreds of them.
Hundreds of them. Hey, Frank, from working at Qualys and AppSec primarily.
John Damartoski, Black Diamond Technology.
Paul Coggin, Dynetics.
Bubba Sick. Come on, man.
Josh Huff from Columbia, South Carolina. New
Newbie.
student to InfoSec.
Don't forget Carolina.
Carolina Espinoza, Menina Technology and Consulting, Menina TechSec on Twitter.
Beautiful.
Nice. By the way, Paul, thank you for coming on our podcast. You are a scary sumbitch. Things you can do with networks. Good Lord.
With MPLS, BGP. Not too many people can spell BGP.
How do you spell it?
I thought it was Bajibba.
Impulse.
Wait till you get to Muspelos.
That depends how much you've had to drink.
Oh, right on.
When you're reading the RFCs.
So this is a cool experiment. We'll see if it works out. I know some of you have done it in the past, where you get a group of InfoSec podcasts together and see what happens. So
A lot of type A personalities trying to talk over each other. It's typically.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Shocking.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did we script something out? Because I have a few things here. Like,
As he looks at his hand.
yeah, I'm all like nervous.
You know, this is an audio thing, not a. People can't see you.
I have a
Do
face for podcasts. So it
We
works
all
like
do.
that.
I think
We
we
all
all
do.
do.
So one of the things that we want to discuss is our experience here at Derbycon, because we're coming live from Derbycon. So what's been your experience so far?
Oh,
Miss
I
Horrick-
get to go first?
You're the woman, so and I'm
Sweet.
from Colombia, so I know my manners.
I recognize neither gender nor race. Everyone
I
is
see
one
no
person.
color.
Yes. Or
It's how you identify yourself, right?
Yes.
de-identification.
I actually started by going to Chris Hedneggy's advanced OSINT class, and it was an absolutely amazing time. I learned a lot. We got a nice license for Maltego.
Nice.
Did a kind of a little OSINT CTF towards the end. That was a lot of fun. Me and my team won, and it was great. I think training and networking with people is probably my favorite part.
Cool. You've done a lot of the talks or a lot of hallway.
I've made a couple talks. Yeah, I mean, I always try and make my own.
Well,
Which
that's an important thing.
Which is important.
Is this your first derby?
This is my third derby.
Third.
Oh.
Yes, the first
She's
one.
a loose woman.
What?
Okay, that made the blooper reel.
I try and
we're done.
and cut.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, Ed just called me a whore.
No, I didn't.
is anybody else first Derbycon?
Mine, I'm a virgin.
Oh, really? Me too.
Really?
Way to
Yeah,
try
really.
to salvage.
Well, it's because my company's too cheap. My company is too awesome to not pay for mine. So. Yeah.
No, I've been wanting to come to Derbycon for a long, long time. I haven't seen Dave since I burned to security zone in Colombia 4 years ago. So it was fantastic seeing how he's changed and
Oh yeah.
how awesome he looks. And he's still the same old Dave. Doesn't matter, how famous and wealthy he gets. He's still same old Dave.
He picked me up from the airport in his Tesla, put me in the
Oh,
trunk,
man.
cut pile carpeting. It was so beautiful. Nicest trunk ride I've ever been in.
At least that you remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the other one
Of
was
those
a body
that you
bag.
remember.
Yeah. That's right, chloroform.
I actually learned the other day that it takes a while for chloroform to take effect.
Really?
There is a
Yeah.
story there.
Yes.
Yo, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, hold the rag there for a surprisingly long time.
That's why Jerry's still conscious.
That's true.
All right. It's still working.
I won't sit still.
He's squirmy.
He's wily, that one.
So Jerry, this is your third
This is
Derbycon.
my third Derbycon.
And how has your experience been? Are you asking in general, or This one.
No, this
particular.
one, or how do you compare to the previous one? So,
You don't want to touch my knee?
and
Well,
that's
she just
that's
wants
a,
to get closer to me.
and that was a question for Jerry, by the way.
No. Well, so I'll tell you, it has gotten a lot busier. You know, I think it's just marginally more people than last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I'll say is, most of the talks I've wanted to get into, I haven't been able to.
What's with the lines? Is that always a thing? Is that a
Yes,
thing?
that's always a thing.
That's a thing.
So you're
okay.
implying this is because of lines, not because you're just banned from the talk.
No, that's right.
Okay, I'm just checking.
A lot of TROs on you, a lot of temporary restraining orders.
Not so temporary.
There's a
Oh.
few.
Don't tell anybody he's so close to you.
Temporary is the wrong word.
Long-term restraining order?
Yeah. That's right. So, I think there's quite a few really, really popular presenters and popular topics, and they draw substantial crowds.
Well, I heard they're thinking of perhaps expanding this next year. That's just a rumor. It may be true, maybe not.
You
Are they
mentioned it
expanding?
in the introduction.
opening.
Yeah.
Are they expanding to Colombia?
I don't.
For tactical edge?
I don't.
There you
think-
go.
Oh,
I
there
plugged
you
it.
go.
I plugged that. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
We need a plug bell. Anytime a product promotion,
You mean whenever I say tactical edge in
Ding,
Boettcher?
ding.
So a good friend of ours that's here, John. Actually, he made a very good comment about the a lot of the talks, and when we were talking, and we all agree that it was a good comment about the talks that are mostly technical and how to break
Sure.
stuff.
Kind of one of the ideas is a solution, and maybe obviously we all have to earn our living here, but hey, we broke it, awesome, we know how to do it, that's great. How do I improve the situation? How do I make the world a better place? You don't have to give away all your details or your magic sauce, but hey, here's 10 things you can try to improve the situation and move on. So that was something maybe long term, in any talk we try to add that in if we can.
just buy the blinky box and all your problems will be solved.
No, but I think that's a good point, because again, I went to one of the talks this morning, and I thought it had to do with social engineering, right? And it looked good, and it was the typical, here's how I do it to break into things, and once I break into things, I have lateral connectivity, whatever, and then I can do phishing, and I can do Google for OSINT and everything. I'm like, yes, I know. We've seen that a lot, right? So somebody asked him the question at the end. He's like, so if the companies set up a secure, certificates and token setup with encryption between, basically a trusted network, well, how will you break that? And my guy was like, well, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any company do that real life, right? But again, it goes to what John was saying.
A solution.
A
Sell a
solution.
solution. If
Tell
you're
us-
going to break something,
Yeah.
offer alternatives to fix or make it better.
Yeah, because we all know things can be broken in. I mean, that's the whole idea of InfoSec, right? What do you think, Mr.
What do I think? Coming from a web app security background, that kind of feeds into a really good talk that I went to today, that Bill Semp gave, and so we talk about giving an alternative to these things, and this was, okay, so we know that there's all these vulnerabilities out there. How do you get programmers or developers to be able to fix these? Because obviously as InfoSec folk, we don't talk to developers the right way, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a gap that needs to be mended there. And, him offering that solution and helping to fill the space there to get security people to talk to developers and vice versa,
Nice.
was a welcoming there. So that was a really good talk that I went to today. Didn't have a lot of the antics from Human Hackers talk, but it was it was and that's good. Derbycon, you get diverse talks, right?
Yeah,
Some are fun and a lot of entertainment value, and some are kind of straight down to earth. So it was a pretty good mix so far. But
Good.
yeah, offering a solution is often a break it track, fix it track, teach me, etc. But it's also good that I can do this. Well, that's great. Well, how can you make this? What are your suggestions for making that not exploitable, or etc. Cool. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lack of appeal almost to blue team type talks. that a lot of folks want to see the red team stuff.
I want to see purple.
Because red team is more glamorous.
It's sexy.
Yeah.
I want to see purple though. I want to see both sides of it. I think those are the ones that are, I don't know, maybe I just am getting old, but those are the ones I feel like I wanna be a part of more often than not. I want to see the purple stuff, so I want to see both sides.
And that's what Carlos Perez was talking about yesterday, right? About both sides working in the shadows or whatever, working red team and blue team to make your famous.
We had Mick Douglas on our podcast, and he had mentioned that he likes both sides because you can see it from both sides, and you need to be able, as a red guy, to be able to solve the problem. Because if you just drop a 500-page report on somebody and go, here's all your problems, I'm out.
Well,
you're not helping them.
It's certainly not consistent across all pen testers, but a number of the pen testers I've met have had this arrogance of there's nothing you can do to stop me. Yeah. I will always own you. So they're not necessarily interested in solving the problem. That's not what they're paid for.
That's also not what they're paid for, though.
Right.
Yeah. So to an extent, they're kind of the product of their environment.
Absolutely.
Do you think companies should scope that?
They're doing their job. I mean, there are valid red team engagements where it's just a scope to find the hole, and that's a valid engagement, just as building a effective incident response or blue team engagement.
And that kind of stuff, I think, should be like, that's going to be a spot check when you do, the red team engagement.
That's a point in time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Mm-hmm. The purple team should be always ongoing, and
absolutely
internally.
Sure.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we run out of topics. No, I'm just kidding. No. So one of the things that I'm seeing here, a lot being my first event, is that I like the atmosphere. I personally like the atmosphere. I think that everyone is very reachable. And I was telling somebody, yes, we're very, as a community, we're very introvert. We don't go out and say, hey, how you doing? But if you actually go and make that step, except Amanda, she's the only one that comes and hugs you.
She's mean. She's fearsome.
But if you actually want to talk to somebody and you just you're on your own hanging at the bar and you don't know anyone.
Are you saying she's aggressively nice?
Yes, very nice.
Sorry. Yeah, that explains. That's me in a nutshell.
Right. I was making the joke with someone earlier today that we should on Twitter post like pictures of our shoes, right? So we
shoe selfies.
Right?
Yeah. I saw something.
So we know who each other are. Because we're always looking down.
I thought
that
awesome.
I also think there should be
name tags, Twitter handles.
There should be a stick it on the badge or something.
And that's one of the things that we did at besides Nashville is when the first one that we did, we had the tags, and then we gave everyone a Sharpie, and you put your name in there, whatever you want to put. So some people were funny.
Then you have 10 people, 20 people being Greg Diaz.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah, yeah, he was all over the place.
Street again.
And clearly, we need like a red or a green sticker for whether or not you accept hugs, because this is an important.
I would go around and put green stickers, like unbeknownst to.
I thought if you came to Derbycon, it was that you were hug friendly.
No, that mentality is raping women.
It's called.
Oh, hey, no, we're not going to go there. So one thing I want to comment.
You're going down.
One thing it's personal hygiene. I have not experienced any slapping the face type of
I've
odor.
been slapped.
No, but
odor.
Yeah, but I think odor. But I think that hygiene is working very well in this event.
Boy, this Amtrak train just ran off the rails, isn't it?
It's cleaner. It's a nice clean Derbycon.
Wait. I would just like to stop and say we're trying to convey how great this show is by talking about how people are not offensively stinky. Is that the best
we are offensive.
No, but
we're not.
No, but we started
smelling.
talking about personalities, right? So that's a plus. It means that it's moving forward. One of the things, so there was a 9-year-old today that was giving a presentation.
Ruben.
Ruben Paul. No.
I didn't see it.
Like my third children's pretty right.
You saw it.
I did, in fact, see it. I went because I'm actually, if you are not a BreakSec listener, I will be interviewing him and his father in an hour or two. And I was... I was hoping it's not the pretty hype machine that everybody had believed it to be. In the InfoSec community, there's things that we like to latch onto, both positive and negative. that that some people are very polarized about. Huggate, Jerry and Andrew. And I wanted to see if it was for real.
We're just a topic.
You are. People are very controversial. I mean,
You-
people love you or hate you. You
You
can
are,
know
yeah.
in between.
And
Not many love you.
depending on the
but-
time of day, yeah. So I wanted to find out if
still a true statement.
he actually, he presents well. I think his talk was probably better than some I've seen on Iron Geek's website. I would probably, and I learned how to use Social Engineering Toolkit from a freaking 9-year-old, which I don't know if that makes me, sad or, but
I from Mr. Robot.
I don't watch Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
I don't buy into that pretty hype machine.
But
either.
that goes in something that I truly believe everyone has something to teach. Doesn't matter what age or whatever they are, something and we have a newbie here.
Yeah, we need to make him say it. It's real time.
Yes.
Come on, noob. So, because this is good. I mean, you're coming from basically outside, trying to get into the industry. How are you being treated? How do you think you're being treated?
Michigan State.
Are
I can't
people
remember how he's being treated.
are
so
people
that's a good
accepting you or?
Absolutely. The atmosphere is open. It's friendly. Last night I talked to Jeff Mann for 15 minutes just because he said he had a background in crypto, which I didn't know. So I pulled out the little freebie beer crypto challenge that they gave out downstairs. Talked to him for a little bit. SCOTUS popped in, so obviously I went over and made a Heisenberg joke. And
Nice.
It's just everybody is very open. Tim introduced me to a couple members that were playing Capture the Flag based out of Charleston. They were very willing to let me kind of see what each of them was working on. It's just everybody's great.
Wow. Must not be doing too well because super paranoid people wouldn't just be going, "Oh, what are you doing over the shoulder there?"
I believe they topped the
Those
leaderboard
guys
this
are all
morning.
right.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Was it Novosec guys?
It was
Yes.
Dave Corsi.
Yeah, with
Oh,
the second.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Their handle is just the tip. I believe that's their team name.
Yeah.
they're in first place.
Yeah. They went from 9th to 1st overnight, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just they worked overnight. They stayed
Answered all the
overnight.
things.
And nobody smells so far.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Right
that's a
on.
big freaking plus.
Yeah.
I think that's a plus.
So this reminds me a lot of what DEF CON was like maybe 15 years ago.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not that old, so
But-
I don't remember.
And
Uh-huh.
this is my second Derby, and I always have these plans to go to lots of talks, and then I make like a 10th of them, and end up really enjoying and getting a lot of value out of just talking to people, doing Hallway Con and BarCon. But I'm also bitter because my talk was rejected, but that was my fault. But
Oh, you got burned by somebody going up the stairs? No, it wasn't
No.
her. It was.
Uh-uh.
It was.
Toddy.
Taunton,
Yes.
Taunton Car.
Like,
That's
my
right.
talk got
That's
accepted.
right.
Oops.
No,
Some
I
of
was-
us
I
have
was-
talks to present.
I was making fun of her because she wasn't hanging out with us. I'm like, oh, now that you're a speaker, you're too cool to hang out with us. She goes, I've got a talk to give. She said, if your talk was accepted, you would know what that's like.
Oh, sick.
It's like
Sickest.
burn.
But no, I think Derby is an excellent conference.
Yeah.
You get a lot of really, really experienced folks who are very open and giving, and I think it's a very approachable con. It's not like ShmooCon, which sells out in 30 seconds, which drives me crazy.
F5 doesn't work.
Still like
F5 is
Shmoo.
not your friend.
Shmoo's still a good con.
No, Shmoo is a great con.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just tough to get
The
in.
logistics of it frustrate me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but
The
no,
Hinkley Hilton, but it's in DC.
Yeah,
It's
no, don't get me wrong. I've always enjoyed going to ShmooCon, but it just frustrates me. Derbycon is one that most folks, if they want to go, can go.
Can go, yeah.
It's,
So let me ask you a question though. So Derbycon, there's the rumors that it's going to be getting bigger. If it's such a good con, why make it bigger? Doesn't bigger mean suck?
Not really.
doesn't have
Look at
to by
DEF CON and
default.
Black Hat. They're calling that VendorCon now. It's the new
It is,
RSA.
but they also do a great job of controlling the vendors that come in. They sell out vendor spots, and if you get shitty feedback, they don't let you sponsor next year.
Nice.
So it's not like RSA or Black Hat where they're
They
going to
accept
take all of your
everyone.
money and they'll be like, "Oh, you want to sponsor Platinum? Sure, pay us. You're here. Set up this giant thing." Here, if you get negative feedback or anything, or you can't contribute, they
Yeah.
want contribution to the con from vendors. They don't want just the money, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is a little bit unique that they control that. And I come from both sides of it, so I don't know. I think they do a really good job with that and keeping it
Nice.
I mean, from a vendor perspective.
See, I don't have any frame of reference. This is my first con. I've been to B-side Seattle. There were like 150 folks.
Wait, this
there,
is your
so-
first
What?
con?
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Why are you even speaking? You have no.
Why don't you shut your pork
Viable-
trap? Why don't you shut your pork trap?
Because he's actually been working and not
Oh,
I've been helping people get jobs and stuff.
I've got to spend,
Yeah.
the trust fund money somehow.
Market?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I like is I really like being able to meet people that I wanted to meet that I haven't met in a while.
Yeah.
So you guys are
Forever.
I never met, and just running into you guys here, and it's
Were you-
fantastic.
Were you disappointed?
Yes.
A little bit.
The
but
man, the
that's
myth,
okay.
the legend.
But that's okay. I thought you were taller and skinnier and thinner, but that's okay.
More hair.
Oh, I just fell out of a chair.
Oh, man.
I'm coming, Elizabeth.
Is that what they tell you? That's what
Your
they tell me
Twitter
the time.
picture's like 10 years old.
So this is your.
It's like online dating.
It's like chat roulette.
That's right.
Oh my
That's
day!
right.
Like
It's
chat
like, okay, I'll play.
Next.
I already
Chat-
paid my
chat
money.
roulette with way more names.
Oh.
You know what? That's the other thing. I'm actually happy about the number of ladies I thought I'd see here. I thought it was going to be big
I
sausage
was
fest.
It still is.
Well, I know, but I mean,
It still
you
is.
can at least look in a direction and see a woman.
Right.
I think. And
You should see a person.
We have.
well, yeah,
I
a
thought
lady.
you didn't see gender.
We have two people with
That's-
dresses
That's
right now.
Brian speaking, by the way. Just Brian.
Brian
Brake.
Brake.
Brian
Brian
Brake. I'll
Brake
own
breaking
that.
security.
I will
He
own
lives at.
I will own that. Yeah,
His phone
finish-
number is.
Yeah, finish doxing, man. It's fun.
All I know is that I see two people wearing dresses in the table. I'm not calling them women.
No, that was Larry Pesce, and
Oh.
that was a kilt.
Oh, that was it. Oh, that was it.
Yeah. That,
Oh.
yeah.
He looks like a girl.
Let me just.
Oh.
That was Amanda. No, wait.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
Let me just apologize now to everybody attempting to listen to this. I understand how confusing this must be to listen, because it's really confusing just being here.
And we're
It's
sober.
not any better in the room. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm very happy with what's going on. I've learned a lot so far. About I spoke with John. We went out to lunch today and spoke about DLP, which was fantastic. He's Mr. DLP. If anybody has questions on DLP, talk to Mr. John from Black Diamond.
Isn't that just a fancy Regex?
Oh! On the DLP light it is. No, there's lots of different things we can do.
See, I thought
Right on.
DP was something completely different.
It
Yeah.
is.
No,
The
an
DLP
L.
is just
L,
with an added L.
and
L for loser.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't lose me, please. Is that what DLP
Please
stands
don't
for?
lose my data. So you were asking me, this is my first real con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
And
it's
probably
first,
your
and
last,
then- Well,
the way
you-
things are going.
So it was your first con or your first derby?
This is my
Con!
first conference.
Con ever. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
just-
first experience at a con was way different than later on, but
So-
there's a difference between being married and single.
Yeah.
So going back, leaving that topic. and I
Again,
said
there is a story there. You keep giving these bits of stories.
You know, none of us will be elected to Congress now.
Yeah, so going to that topic and going back to being someone new in InfoSec. So a couple of things that I told him yesterday and help me out if I'm wrong is I told him that one of the things coming into the InfoSec industry is one, be very patient, right? You have to be very patient because it's you come in and
Excuse me, would you get to your point?
Yes. If anybody didn't understand that, just think about it. That was good.
Yeah, well, I got somewhere to be.
So anyway, so be patient, be very patient. He's doing it correctly because I said, learn about networking first, right?
Absolutely.
Take your CCNA, learn about networking because you need to know your basis of data networking. What's a switch? What's a VLAN? What's a router? A lot of people in InfoSec don't know that, and so how do you expect them to? You have no idea what a freaking VLAN. You don't know how to spell MPLS. Oh my goodness!
I have people who do that for me.
What, spell MPLS?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Minions.
And then what I said to him is like, once you start to understand about InfoSec, he's also doing A+ security, correct?
Yeah, Security Plus.
Security Plus, yeah. So once you get into it and you understand that it's a gazillion options within the field, select one that you like and then focus on that one, right?
Except as long as it's not your CISSP, because you'll never live it down.
But I don't know. I mean, that's what I told them. What do you guys think? What do you guys think for newbies? Anyone that's a newbie coming into InfoSec listening to this crazy podcast? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say? Ed, you're absolutely fucking wrong.
No, I completely.
Hey, let's make sure that we got the fucking wrong there.
I think you're absolutely correct on having the foundation of networking knowledge first. I think that is so key. The other thing I would say is if you've got operational experience, it makes InfoSec a lot easier.
What do you mean by operational experience?
If you've been a sysadmin, if you've been a
Yes.
network admin, if
Yes.
you've been help desk, if you've been a user or not a user but an admin in IT first.
Everyone should have done a stint in Helldesk at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Learn to code just a little bit.
Yes.
Learn how to code something. Just understand
mean,
what you're looking
yeah.
at least.
It's
And
very
then
important.
the
It's
next-
very important.
Yeah.
And if you can't do security, get into compliance. I heard it's easy.
Oh my goodness.
Check that box, mother.
The next thing I would say is that understand business. Understand
Very
how
important.
companies make money, what it is they need to do to make money, because ultimately we are at tension with business. And so we need to understand the risk trade-off that business has to do. A lot of people new into security think that there's an absolute black and white, and it's far more nuanced, and it takes a lot of effort to remember and not believe our own hype that at the end of the day, this is about business.
And to be able to talk to the business people as well.
Yeah.
Not only understand it, but be able to talk to them at their level and be able to explain things, not extremely simple, but simple enough that they understand what.
That's true. And I want to give Jerry some props. Jerry Bell, on his website, he put together a whole section on if you're new and you want to get into the industry.
Oh, really?
What to do. So
We're not
Pages and
talking very
pages.
much.
That's very good treat. Treat for a podcaster, right? Be very silent.
what link is it on?
If you go to defensivesecurity.org, it's on the. There's a link on the front page. It's called "Entering the InfoSec Biz."
That's pretty good.
By the way, he's using WordPress 6, so
Ooh.
get after that, folks.
Challenge thrown. So one of the things also I go with Amanda was saying about things outside the technology, be able to, proper communication. When I was in the technology, when I was starting, I realized that, with my accent, which I used to have an accent in the past, I don't have it anymore. But
He sounds like he's from Tennessee, right?
Right.
but in the past, I didn't want to talk. I thought people didn't understand me, and I knew that was a big, holding me back, right?
Huh?
Yes, exactly.
Could you enunciate a little?
So,
Okay.
so I went and I took. Okay, I know. It's K, not K. So I took a Dale Carnegie course, right? How to speak in public, how to make friends and influence people, and I you just get the beginning of it, and it gives you the strength to actually.
Do you think it helped?
I thought it helped a lot.
Right on.
I think I really think, by the way, communication and particularly writing and speaking are
Nonverbal, baby.
yeah. Sorry, we had some nonverbal communication going.
It wasn't me this time.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't focus on, but is critically important, right? Because a lot of people don't write well, especially these days in the age of spell check.
Oh my goodness.
And whatnot.
It's true.
And that is
Hire a tech writer.
highly
Or learn how
important.
to.
My spelling is degraded to the point of autocorrect will figure it out.
Yeah, but one of the things is it's funny that you mentioned that because every time you look at a job posting, right, some of the requirements is high, level communication skills, presentation skills, and I'm like, really?
I think they
How do you prove that?
Yeah, they put it there just because they have to, and it's
Yeah.
normal.
But
I
here's
don't
the,
think.
here's
But
the
it's
thing:
helpful.
in the IT, especially in the security world, what do people focus on? How do I write exploits? How do I reverse engineer malware? How do I run a pen test? How do I use Kali? How do I do this? How do I do that? Very few people are focusing on how do I write a report.
Well, because the heavy skills are what they really need. The light skills will come later. When in fact, the light skills are the writing reports, talking to devs.
You're not going to get the opportunity to exercise those technical
Part of
skills.
offering the solutions, writing it up.
Right.
Communicating it.
One thing too that this conversation reminded that I want to say earlier on recommendations is, and this is a little bit controversial or whatever, but one thing that I think people mistake is knowing how to run a security tool is a skill set, but does not make you a security person.
Absolutely.
In other words, if you know how to admin DLP, that does not make you a security person.
Really?
You could use my motto that I throw in every talk, and that's training trumps tools. So
Training.
Well,
I'll
no-
just throw that. I mean, but you need to have the understanding and the training.
Right,
And the
that's where I'm going.
skills. Yeah.
I see folks who, I'm a really good firewall admin. That's great, but do you understand the implications of what you're doing? And I don't mean that technically. I mean holistically around security. So what I'd say is most people start with this skill set around a certain tool set, but the problem that I have is most people learn about security based on the vendor's view of security and their marketing. So it's a great place to start, but as I've gotten further into this industry, I've realized you have to expand far beyond just, I know how to run some tools, if that makes any sense.
No, that's absolutely right, because a long time ago when I had my company in South America, and go talk to the people there, people like, yes, I'm a information security expert. I'm like, really? So explain to me what you mean by that. Yeah, I can configure Palo Alto firewalls.
Right.
I was like, okay, so you're a firewall admin.
That's awesome.
And you're a Palo Alto firewall admin.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Now, to be clear, that's a very valuable skill set.
It
There's
is
nothing wrong with
extremely,
that skill set.
but you can't go and sell yourself as an
Correct.
information security professional or expert to clients, and because again, it messes up everything.
It's a narrow.
For the
skill.
real professionals like us.
It's
We're
not a
the-
bad place to start. I would just say
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
the deeper you get into it, the more you realize that that's one small slice of a huge pie.
Yeah.
I guess.
Another topic that is on everybody's mind is the question about not enough InfoSec professionals in the industry.
So-
I'm on the side that says that that's bullshit. I'm on the side that says that there's a lot of generalists and that it's a good idea to be a generalist. The thing is, for example, in this room, if we're interviewing for a position where they need a DLP expert, all of us will not make it except John.
Right, but it's the same thing of red team. It's not my domain.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so you can be a generalist, but you can also be a specialist too.
Yeah. But a lot of the time where they call, he's like, you're fantastic, and or you look for on the help ads or whatever you want to call it, and they're looking for people with very specific skills.
Right.
You're not going to find it, and then like there's a shortage. It's like, no, there's a fucking shortage for anyone that can do this specific
Your
thing.
local Craigslist isn't going to find your talent.
I've seen two. I've made two observations in this area, and number one is a lot of I think what is being referred to as the cyber security talent now is kind of hardcore red team, for better or for worse. I don't know why that is, but there just seems to be this equation of security people to red team, and the other is that I'm pretty convinced that when organizations in the government will not say that there's a shortage of talent, what they're really saying is there's a shortage of talent at the price they want to pay.
Ding, ding, ding.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a different story.
Yeah.
And I think there would be a sorry.
No, I'll let you go ahead.
And I think there would be a shortage if businesses actually hired for the security roles they needed.
Or
They don't even have the roles.
the remote work.
Remote work is huge for us because if you look in a single geographic area and need somebody to come into that office every day, you might not be able to fill all your specialty roles. The team I manage, we have people all over the world. So we have people in France, Armenia, India, California, Texas. I mean, everywhere. We get our talent where we can get it. It's pretty much global at this point. So I'm not saying that that's a fit for everybody, but if you're looking at a shortage in a particular geographic area for someone to come in and be a identity management expert that I'm looking in, Sioux Falls, and I need someone to come into this office every day, you may not find that talent there.
In
Just
Sioux
May
Falls,
you won't.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
You won't right now.
And are you going to pay for them to move? Probably not. Or are they going to even want to move?
But again, that comes back down to the point where you are not willing to pay
Sure.
Market rate.
the
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if you
Market
pay
rate or
a s-
not, remote positions are going to be far easier for if it fits
Agreed.
your business
I
model.
agree. And I'm just saying that if you paid enough, people would move to Sioux
Oh,
Falls,
sure.
right? That's
Well,
Wow, no.
no, I mean, look, you've paid me enough. I'll move to Sioux
So that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
is
I'll
that-
do
is
it
that-
here a few years.
But if you want something, if you want a
True.
specialty and your local, 60-mile radius, like you said,
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
good luck. There might be 0. There might be 2.
So Jerry, what
Probably
you're
worth
saying
somewhere.
is that the market rate is that they're not paying enough, or they're paying too much.
I don't think they're paying enough. I mean, I think there's an expectation that, and this is, IT is commoditizing, right? IT is rapidly commoditizing. IT security is becoming more and more prominent, but as an aggregate, we're part of IT, and IT is commoditizing. The expectation is that the overall costs of that shrink, and so the appetite to pay money is dwindling, and so I think the macro message, at least to me, is, there's talent out there, and it's going to cost you more, right? And we're not going to get it for what we want to pay. You're not going to get a $50,000 a year, expert. It's just
absolutely not.
It's just not going to happen.
That's willing to relocate too.
It's willing to relocate to Sioux Falls.
The jobs that I've filled with my clients this year
So-
have all been 100% remote, nationwide. That's our.
So where's the disconnect? Is that an HR issue? Or is that the
It's a
market that's
company
making
culture
it?
issue.
HR is an entire
It's a culture
other
issue. Some companies still think you need an ass in a seat
Yeah.
instead of an ass in a Skype seat,
Right.
1,000 miles away.
Right.
Well, there's
Now,
It's true.
HR is a huge
Yeah.
problem.
I will also tell you, having run the
But
podcast.
hold up for a second,
Sure.
because I want to comment on that. We're also talking about communication issues.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
in-person communication issues usually, whether we like it or not, go better than remote communication.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So there is.
That's what a plan's for. I mean,
You have team meetings, you bring people together. And again, if it fits the business model, it doesn't do work for
I'm
everybody.
not saying it's great, but because I love working remote. I worked at home for 10 years. But I've also seen the power of, hey, I could walk over to somebody's office or cube, have an in-person, face-to-face, ad hoc conversation.
but that also depends, I think, what you're doing, what your job duties are. If you're more managerial, if you're directing, or you're playing politics, that in-person's key.
Mm.
But if you're just getting paid a red team, blue team, this team, whatever, it's a little less important in my opinion.
Yeah, it depends
If
what
they're
you're
in
doing.
your office every day.
But if
once
you're,
a quarter or whatever.
for instance, I work as a security architect for a bank. So if I'm trying to influence and work with a team to, developers, whatever, to get them to, one, trust me, bring me into loop earlier, try to include the security team, all of that, sadly, whether we like it or not, is at this stage in life, rapport building rather than it is actual policy and process. Because we were talking about this like on the drive up. When you look at the security profession versus the legal profession, we're both doing the same things. We're both advising leadership in business how to avoid risk. Yet legal is incredibly well built into business function, and security still isn't.
Yeah.
So we're sort of trying to beg our way into the conversation, while legal is there all the time, doing the same thing, advising leadership, and the leadership can choose to listen to them or not. Kind of the same thing we're doing, at least from a blue team side. And I'm hoping, as business sort of process evolves, that security will get more baked in. Because the other thing we're talking about, I've seen over and over and over again, if we're baking in security architecture early in an entire process, we do so much better.
Right.
And that is so difficult to do right now.
But God, I remember talking about this in the '90s, right? About not making security bolt-on, and here we are. It's 2015, and we're still in this position where the security people bolt their shit on afterwards, and
or they're part of IT, and then that's it's a function of IT, and it really shouldn't be. And legal is not a function of HR. It's its own entity that can advise.
But here's the thing. This is what I was telling John this morning. I'm a network guy, right? I worked in networking for 25 years or 20-something years, right? And as a networking guy, I went ahead and I designed networks from the ground up to be scalable, fast, blah, 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 blah. There's communication, right? End-to-end communication, right? So I set up multiple switches, multiple routers. I set up my VLANs. Everything is segmented. And what's my last test as a network guy? I ping from workstation A to multiple points within the network to make sure there's communication. Why? That's my freaking job. My job is to set up a network that's end-to-end communication, right? Once I finish, I'm done. Oh, security? Oh, now you mean adding segregation to the segmentation? Oh, that's InfoSec, right? And
it's contrary to your job.
Exactly, because InfoSec is trying to stop that end-to-end communication, where the networking engineer was tasked to create a network that's end-to-end communication. That, I think, as a network guy coming into InfoSec, seeing that from a different point of view, I'm like, holy crap. If somebody would have said something to me when I was designing those networks, yes, I would have designed it the same way, right? Absolutely, because you have your segmentations, your VLANs, and everything. But at some point, I will we need to put some firewalls here, and we need to control the way communication flows between this, because at that point, I would understand what it means. And again, like you said, 1990s, we're still talking about it, right? Yes, I've been doing networking since 1980 something. Freaking when Novell Netware, 3.3 plus share, Banyan Vines was around.
Wow.
That's a long time
Easy,
ago.
buddy.
Look,
I don't know if I was born yet.
I'm showing my age because I recognize those.
I'm 49 years old. That's a Wednesday, so happy birthday to me.
birthday!
So
Should
49?
we sing?
No. And at the end. And because that's what we do at PVC Sec in an honor, because all of us are here. We didn't do a intro song so we're gonna do an outro. Happy birthday! Thank you very much. But that's what
So you make a good point too of how network folks are very siloed, right? And sysadmins, whereas think about building a building, right? You've got the general contractor, you've got the architects, and you've got all these specific stuff to work together. And the guys who pour the concrete don't try to do the plumbing.
Absolutely.
But they know that all these systems have to function together properly. We don't do that in IT.
No, we don't.
And in my mind, comes back to a leadership sort of mindset in terms of guidance to the teams. And I'm not trying to do the same, well, nobody listens to security. I just don't think that mindset is out there, because we also have this concept of, I'm an IT guy, I can do anything.
Yeah. Well, again, security is a bolt-on. We need security. Holy crap! Let's put it in there.
Oh, you mean the architect should be involved beforehand?
Right. So one of the things I've observed, having been the garbage man after some really significant breaches, I've gotten a chance to talk to the people who were involved in designing and managing the environments. And the thing that strikes me every time I have a discussion with those people, they never conceived of the way in which the attack happened. In their mind, that was an impossibility.
Exactly.
They did not understand how this chain of events could propagate.
VLANs are isolated. I can't talk to anybody else unless I allow it to. Wrong, because now when you go and you show a network guy, well, if I hack this one computer and I pawn this computer and I have lateral communication, well, yeah, because that's what networks do. You allow you to communicate anywhere. Yeah, that's fucking wrong, right?
Anyhow.
So here's an issue that I see, coming in the future, and I think Mr. Paul Coggin can come in here and talk a little bit more about this, is SDN technology. To me, SDN coming down, it's a big issue for a couple of reasons. One, it's software, right? Software-defined networking. It's virtual. So we're going to start going into the realm of under whose authority would an SDN network come under? I know from a fact, because when I was doing networking, Blade servers came out, right? And Blade servers came out with built-in bridges, right? But the bridge does not belong to the network group. It's a server. It's belonging to the server, so it belongs to the server group. Server group has no idea about 802.1q, about VLANs, about nothing else. Yeah. So they see the two ports. Oh, I plugged in this one here. I plugged in this over here, and now we have a nice broadcast storm, right? So there was a fight between the server groups and the network group. Who owns that bridge in the built-in server? SDN is coming. Who the hell is going to own that? Mr. Paul Coggin.
Well, the network guys are going to have to become developers. They're going to have to know how to program.
Oops, that's a lot of us out of business. I don't know how to program.
I got people.
The network engineer is going to have to code.
What does that
It's the network apocalypse.
What
The
does
old
that
days
pay?
of being a router CLI, slinging CLI, being a Cisco router guru.
More than just
It's all,
a
you're going to have to
mesh.
know Python, Java.
And on top of that,
You're
you
gonna
have to know
deal with
security.
REST APIs. That's the future. You're going to have to deal with it.
But on top,
I don't like it, but I'm
But-
going to
but-
deal with it.
But on top of that, you have to know security because now you have to create virtual firewalls, correct?
Right.
Well, you're a network guy. I never worked with a firewall when I was a network guy. Why? That's not my fucking job. Another mark thing. Right? It's not my job to work with firewalls. I work with switches. I work with routers. Firewalls, that's that geek over there. Well, I'm on the geeky side now. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell is it? What the hell is a switch? What's a router? And now all of a sudden the network guys are giving SDN. So again, I go, SDN will reside on the servers and the virtual servers. Who's going to own that? And that's going to be a humongous issue.
I'm working on an extremely large SDN project. The software engineers have huge influence over the project.
Yes.
Very little network. the network architecture is getting defined. The comms have got to be defined, but the developers are huge in defining how.
You know what we're gonna. You know what we're gonna see. You know what we're gonna see.
Engineers are going to lose influence.
You know what we're gonna see.
Way. It's just reality. I call it the network apocalypse, man.
Yeah.
It's,
We're going to see flat networks once again.
I
The
don't know
all
if you'll-
flat networks.
I don't know if we'll see.
Send
I
subnets.
don't know if we'll see it being flat, but the operational control, you won't. It will not be enough to know a bunch of CLI anymore.
Well, you
don't
just
have to know how to program.
But you just said that the software developers are in control more than the network developers. Software developers don't know anything about TCP/IP. They don't know how to subnet IP. So right there, immediately, it's going to tell me, dude, we're going to have flat freaking networks with 15, 20,000 clients in one flat network.
So what you're going to see is there's going to be somebody who's going to step up that has either development skills, that's going to learn networking, or they're going to be a network guy that's stepped into programming, and they're going to be the guy, and it's going to be the bridge between both groups. And if you're a network guy like me, you've got to step up and do coding, or you're going to be the COBOL programmer.
Oh man, words of wisdom. Words of wisdom by
It
Bubba
really
Sick.
is. I mean, I've heard the other days that inside Cisco that they're talking about that they see SEs becoming programmers.
Damn, that's.
I mean, it's just the way it's going to go.
Sure.
Things are evolving. I personally long for the days of Alpatol, Banyan Vines, Lab, Degnet, when things were nice and complicated and nobody bothered me because I understood how to
Like
program routers.
IPX, SPX, or something.
It was all magic, you know.
And it was all magic, you had all
It still was.
the more protocols, the better. The more complexity, the better. It's simplified.
So we're going to see the comeback of Novell.
Code is eating everything, and now it's code is.
Are we going to see the
routers.
comeback of Novell? Isn't Novell getting involved in
no.
SDN?
I don't think. I doubt it.
No. No.
I do think that SDN, as an entity, is going to drive a lot more complexity and nuance. And one of the concerns I have is we do a pretty terrible job of designing things now. Holy crap! Now,
It's all committee based, and everybody's got their finger in the
This
pie.
scares me.
HTML5. We talked about HTML5 a couple of weeks ago.
I had a-
Designed by a bunch of corporations with their own fingers in the pie.
I had a conversation 2 years ago with a customer who was looking at SDN and wanted firewalls that automatically adjusted based on SDN. And I was trying to convince them, you understand what the role of a firewall is, right? And why that's a bad idea. And I was losing that argument because they want quick, easy, automatic deployment, and the firewall should be automatic. And so you're going to start losing
The network is the firewall.
Self-healing networks, man. Come on.
SDN, IPX.
because the firewall's in the way.
Yeah, that's the point.
And mind you, this was, yeah, exactly.
Somebody just heard that comment over at Cisco, and they've just creamed themselves.
We need that. We need to make that.
That's the kind of thought leadership I provide.
That's included in the cost.
That's true. But so if you've got the networking team and those guys, or even folks abstracted who've been sold the vision at a CFO, CIO level, I see this driving security tools to be respecting SDN, which really scares me.
Right.
But I see it as inevitable.
When a company like Google for example, that they
Who?
I know, little company with I know Alphabet now.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that all of their networks, internal corporate networks, is all going to be SDN, and they're the ones that are driving SDN because they say the reason why it's holding it back is because there's no standard hardware out there right now. So they were telling me, the engineers, we make our own SDN switches now. We go and we tell client manufacturers, make this for us.
But this is the way security has always been. We're always playing catch up.
Yeah, I mean, that exactly. It's coming, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's coming.
It makes too much
Look
fiscal
out.
sense.
Yeah.
And we're not, security is secondary to the business need. It reminds me of like when VMware and virtual environments became really prevalent.
Yes.
Security, all 20 years of security concepts broke immediately.
Absolutely.
And we had to take about 5 years to catch up as an industry. And so probably the same damn thing's going to happen with SDN.
It's the apocalypse, like Bubba Six says.
It's nice that Paul will be there to scare us all to death with what he can do with them in about 5 years.
Oh man.
We just all got to continue to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the key.
No, I'm just going to get into construction. I'm just going to dig holes.
I'm going to get into management. I don't have to think anymore.
I want to go into
It's called
exotic
being
dancing.
an auditor.
Oh, right.
Compliance.
Compliance for the win.
Keep the
That's
clothes
right.
on.
There you go. The opposite way. Yeah, exotic dancing where you pay me to keep my clothes on.
Better yet, you could be a trainer for auditors.
Not even
Trainer
safe
for
for the
auditors.
podcast.
But you're absolutely right there. It's going to be interesting to see how the old self-defending network concept evolves around SDN. That's what they want.
Self-defending network.
It's
Oh
an
my
SDN.
god.
Wow.
But I think
It's
it,
an
Wait,
SDN
somebody
square.
trademark that.
I hear an active defense talk coming up about
creates
that.
some new
Oh my
Stunt
goodness.
defending.
SDN square.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's gonna be the name of a new company. We're gonna start a new company right now called SDN Square. That's pretty good. There you go.
Very nice.
I like the name. The logo is very short. Everyone can spell it. It's pretty good.
Unlike BGP, that's harder to
That's
spell.
right. And
MPLS is 4 letters. It was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So what's your parting shots for people listening to this podcast? Start with Mr. Jerry.
I'd say, subscribe to each of our individual podcasts.
Good job.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think kind of wherever you're at, look for opportunities like Derbycon. Because obviously not everybody can come to Derbycon. Not everybody's in the U.S. or on this side of the country. Look for your opportunity to get together with people and network. That's the value of this, right? All of these talks are being recorded.
Yes.
So everybody, we can all watch them anytime. The value in these cons is right here. It's talking.
In this room.
And if
Jerry.
you-
Right now.
And
Jerry
Look
Bell for
around.
president.
No one else.
Jerry Bell for
Somebody
president.
Yeah, and if you can't make it, have Derbycon parties or something. Invite a bunch
That's
of people
right.
over
There you
and
go.
pop popcorn and.
And what Jerry really means is it's so you can get your next job. That's what he's really talking
Yeah.
about.
I wanna add Jerry's thing. If you don't have anything in your area, make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was in Seattle, I moved to Seattle 2 years ago. OWASP hadn't met in forever. ISACA, you got to pay $20 for parking plus $35 for crap lunch. No offense. I was like, there's got to be something better that doesn't take me an hour to drive somewhere. So I started CSEC East, which is, you get together at a restaurant, y'all BS, you have some, adult beverage if you wish, some dinner, and you talk shop, in a friendly environment. And in the year we've had it running, we've got like 10 to 15 people from various organizations. Some noobs come over, like looking for a job, so we try to help out with ideas for things like that. If you don't have something in the area, make it.
Yep.
The worst thing could happen is it's just you for a couple of months in a restaurant. They will show up eventually.
Yeah, one of
That's
the things that I learned in my professional life is don't be scared of doing new things or asking for help. The worst thing that can happen is you get a no and nothing else happens. You don't freaking die. The world doesn't stop, right? So don't be scared of going up to somebody. If you have a question, and just ask them. A lot of people in the InfoSec industry, the majority I would say, are very nice, down to earth people, and they're willing to help, and they're willing to share their time. Except John, he.
Yeah.
I knew that dude's an ass.
You ask him about DLP, and he's like
Pretend you're
Well,
not
'cause
here.
$350 an hour. I'm like, oh man.
Vendor is a 4-letter word, so we all know. But so there was one good talk I did go to. Tonecoff and Security Moe did a mentorship podcast interview, and I thought it was really, really good. I intend to have her on to talk about that. But you know, it's amazing how you fall into a mentor position. I didn't realize that I was a mentor, but apparently being on a podcast is like we're mentoring like hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm pretty sure not that many people listen to our
Well, our listener now in Mongolia, he's a big fan.
Oh, okay.
So, but you know, and then you've got people like CSEC East. By doing organizations or joining organizations, you're spreading influence. People want to seek you out when those things happen. I didn't realize that, and I felt uncomfortable.
Sometimes they're seeking you out just to punch you. You realize that.
Exactly.
I duck.
Okay.
I'm wily, man.
How about our live podcast audience? Parting words.
Keep learning.
Well, do we all get party words?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, did we skip
Well,
us? Andy and I have
No,
not.
he chimed in. You didn't like. Okay, come on. All right.
Me first?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ladies first.
All right.
That's enough.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm glad we were impatient on that one.
No. I have to plug my own con, Circle City Con.
Ding, ding.
So, ding ding.
And tactical edge.
Yeah,
Ding,
and
ding.
Tactical Edge. Not Tactical Edge
That's not
isn't
your
mine.
con.
Ding ding.
No, if they pay me to go, I'll go. But you know,
I don't
And-
know. I don't know.
Circle City Con.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. And we're hiring at Hurricane Labs.
Ding ding.
Oh, nice. And they do pay fair market value.
We pay really well, and we have an amazing team.
Ding 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 ding.
And Cheetos.
And my boss is probably going to listen to this, so I love you.
Oh.
Please don't fire her. She's touching me inappropriately right now.
But if you're letting her, so does that mean it's
I get paid
inappropriate?
extra for that.
So,
Wait, that wasn't her.
oh.
Brian,
Hands on the table.
Hands check. Hands check. Come on.
So my parting words is one thing that I've been on many different sides of this industry, and I was on the vendor side for 10 years. Before that, I was on the user side for 10 years. Back on the user side, and the one thing that's sort of been hitting me over the head is I have to be patient. It takes a long time to get things done in existing organizations, contrary to the marketing happy world of vendors saying, just buy this tool and it fixes everything, or just implement this policy. It is turning battleships to get things done, and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Perfect.
Did you get that in a fortune cookie or something?
I got your mom in a fortune cookie.
So
Easy.
selfie time for those that cannot see us. Hey. My lips
Take
froze.
the picture.
My lips froze.
Good audio.
What the hell?
My lips
My
froze.
face hurts.
I don't know if
Anyway.
it took it.
Parting
Everyone
words.
over here. Everyone
No,
over here.
it didn't work.
Oh, over here. Come on. All right. Paul, everyone.
My
Yeah,
phone's
we'll
retarded.
squeeze in.
No, it didn't
Okay,
work.
do it
Oh, hold
again.
on. We're still taking
Do it
a
again.
selfie
Yes, we're
picture.
doing a
This is the-
selfie.
This is
Do
the
it.
It'll come out in post.
have patience.
Oh, that's a wall.
Oh, look.
That doesn't look like us.
Samsung with Sam's.
Come on. There we go.
Get over here.
Oh man.
Samsung. Yeah.
There we go.
Ooh, close that blind, yeah.
Oh, one more.
You're worse than my grandma. Damn. You look like the
That's not how
two.
this works.
This is head.
I'm getting divorced. This is not
Oh, God.
All right.
I will try not to ever grab the back of your head again. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Oh,
See
I
the
just
photo for
said-
that evidence?
Yeah.
There just will be consequences.
And now we feel the love as everyone in the room wishes me a happy birthday.
Well,
Thank you very much.
we need to mention all of our podcasts, so
Go.
we
So,
can
Again?
cross-pollinate.
Go ahead.
whatever.
Ready?
You.
Go again.
I'm at BreakSec, BRAKE Sec, Breaking Down Security, breakingsecurity.com.
Ding ding.
we're at pbcsec.com, at pbcsec, and at Tactical Edge.
Ding ding. It's my job.
Go ahead. You're next.
Defensive Security Podcast. My name is Andrew Kalat. At Lerg, Lerg on Twitter. Ding ding.
Amanda Berlin at InfoSister and at Hurricane Labs.
Ding ding.
I am Jerry Bell at Malicious Link, and you can find our podcast at DefensiveSec or www.defensivesecurity.org.
You get no dings.
And don't
Ding,
forget,
ding, ding.
and don't forget Circle CityCon
Oh yeah, and
Circle
Circle
City.
City.
and
and-
Tactical Edge in
Ding,
Bogota,
ding,
Colombia.
Ding, ding,
Woohoo.
ding, ding.
And
Ding ding
Derbycon.
ding ding ding.
Derbycon is over.
Derby, yeah.
Derby is not over.
But
yet.
thank you, Derbycon, for hosting us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Allowing us to spend the money here.
Plus
Bye-bye.
one, we'll do again or something. A plus, plus,
10,
plus,
10 out
plus.
of 10.
Yeah,
We'll do
10
again.
out of 10, yeah.
If you
5
made it-
stars.
If you made it to the end of this podcast, God love you.
You're our kind of people.
For all 2 of you still listening.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Good.
And we're out.
I love you so much.
Peace and love.